All right, 4:10 in the afternoon, 274-5297. I appreciate everybody being patient today on these phone calls. The phones have been jammed up all the time. I know someone just emailed me and told me they've been waiting for the last couple hours trying to get in. 274-5297. We're going to go to our guest via the telephone all the way out of L.A., John Ziegler, who's a documentarian from Media Malpractice, to get his reaction on Governor Palin. And him and I differ a little bit, but John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. As a matter of fact, those of your listeners who happen to be watching Fox News Channel are going to be a little confused because I believe I just got off the air with Bill O'Reilly on the O'Reilly Factor.
Right.
Although it's important that people understand I'm on live with you.
Right.
The O'Reilly Factor is taped, but if they missed it, they can see it again at 7 o'clock. Alaska time, 3 hours from now, on the rebroadcast, and I urge them to do so because I think you're going to agree with everything I said on the O'Reilly Factor tonight, Eddie.
Well, that's great. Let's go about. We talked over the weekend about it. Let me give you. Why don't you give us your take on all this?
Well, I mean, this is a very complex situation, so I hope we have a little bit of time to talk.
Sure.
And here's my take on this. You and I, Eddie, and you probably more so than even me, are in a very small group in the news media that actually know the facts
right.
Surrounding Governor Palin. And I got to tell you, the difference between the media's perception of Governor Palin and the real Governor Palin is like the difference between the 2009 version of Michael Jackson and the 1980 version of Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
There's no comparison. And one of the things that I have been most frustrated about since Friday is that the biggest problem here is that the national news media and the vast majority of the American people, and probably a lot of people in Alaska, have not been given enough facts to be able to come to proper conclusions on their own. And, of course, the news media is not going to do any of the heavy lifting for them because they don't like Sarah Palin. The reality is she couldn't do her job. That's the reality. Not because she was not capable, but because of these political and media terrorists. And that's
right.
What they really are. You know them better than I do. These political and media terrorists whose entire point in life was to try to intimidate Governor Palin and her family and to make it impossible for her to do her job. So if you can't do your job, and I got into a discussion with Bill O'Reilly about this because he compared himself to Governor Palin, and I think I convinced him that it's not an apt analogy because the reality is she was not allowed to be effective in her job because of political and media agendas. It was costing the state millions of dollars. It was costing her and her family hundreds of thousands of dollars and putting her kids through unprecedented hell. I would ask any of your listeners, if you were under those circumstances and you thought it was best for your state and best for your family and were willing to put your own short-term political self-interest behind your love of the state and behind the love of your family, what would you do? I doubt there are too many listeners that would, in good conscience, say that they would do anything differently if they were being honest with themselves than what Governor Palin did. And what she did was courageous.
Well, see, John, that's the deal, is that you and I know that, and I think that's the difficult thing for others in-state who like the governor, and, of course, those who don't like her are never going to agree with her or believe anything. But that Governor Palin, Sarah Palin, is like that. She will make a decision that puts the state and the country before her. And because people are looking at this as a traditional politician and saying, well, what's in it for her? There's got to be something in it for her, and she couldn't have done it for the higher calling, for the greater good of the country and for our state. They just don't believe that.
Well, and you know what drives me crazy, Eddie, and I just mentioned this on O'Reilly's show, and I'll bet this was news to him and probably most to his viewers, but it's not news to you. It ought to be known by every single person who cares about this issue that Governor Palin did this before. When she was the head of the Oil and Gas Commission there in Alaska, her political obituary was written then when she resigned because she thought it was the right thing to do because they wouldn't let her be effective. She couldn't do her job because of corruption in the state, and that was not in her political self-interest. But it ended up, not because of design, but because of circumstances, it ended up setting up her run to be governor of Alaska. How could you possibly, understand the context of this and give her the benefit of the doubt that she more than deserves, unless you have that fact at your disposal.
Well, because she walked away from $100,000 job as a commissioner at the Alaska Oil and Gas Commission, and everybody thought, well, how in the world could you do that just because Randy Riedrich's breaking ethics laws about using his computer and all? Most of us don't really think like that, but when Governor Palin has proven herself that that's the way she does think.
Exactly. See, to me, it goes to her credibility and to the notion. I mean, O'Reilly, basically tried to make it sound a little bit like, she's cashing out here. Well, first of all, nobody deserves to cash out more than Governor Palin and her family, because they deserve, financially to be rewarded for what they've endured over the last year. But there is zero evidence that that's her motivation, and what happened with the Oil and Gas Commission is proof of that. This is a courageous decision that is being, unfortunately, reported as some sort of incompetence or cowardice, the exact opposite of what it really is. And it's a sad day for America. It's a sad day for the conservative movement. But you know what, Eddie? I don't think it's a sad day for Sarah Palin and her family. I think she's at peace with this. I think she knows she's made the right decision morally, and I think that she understands that there's a lot of life left in Governor Palin and her family, and the last chapter is far from being written yet. And this notion that this was being done for 2012 is just hilarious if it wasn't so seriously flawed in their thinking and their reporting. And of course, this notion that there was some scandal involved. I'm sure you've been all over this. What a flat-out lie that has been, and how MSNBC has once again completely and totally embarrassed themselves. How it is that anybody can label them a news organization is beyond me, and the governor and her lawyer are right to fight back as hard as possible.
Have you heard Shannon Moore say it, and we played the clip here earlier, and we still have it up, actually, but that she says, well, there was a rumor, so it's true.
Oh, I got it.
That there was a rumor.
Where can I get that one and play it on my show?
You've got to go to ADN.com, Anchorage Daily News.
ADN.com. Well, there's another news organization that's lost all credibility.
Yeah, and listen to this interview. She goes, well, there was a rumor about this Spenard Bilbo supply and them doing work at their home or stuff. So therefore, I just reported on the rumor, and the rumor. Well, it was true. There was a rumor, so therefore,
it's unbelievable. And I actually, I did the documentary film Media Malpractice. How Obama got elected and Palin was targeted. My first documentary was about a film called The Path to 9/11. That film was called Blocking the Path to 9/11. In it, I expose another blogger who has been trying to forward this bogus story that you've just been referring to, by the name of Max Blumenthal. This guy is a complete fraud and a joke and a liar. He's the son of Sidney Blumenthal, the former Clinton attorney. And so it's just amazing. These people have no credibility whatsoever, but they are able to get news stories, alleged news stories, bogus news stories, into the bloodstream of the mainstream news media. And because this narrative has already been created about Governor Palin, there are millions of people out there that are willing to buy into false stories because they've been fed a false narrative to begin with.
Yeah.
And that is what is so frustrating. People have not been given the right information. They have been given a very distorted view of her, so then they're willing to buy more.
By the way, John, I have Rebecca Mansour from conservativesforpalin.com in the studio with me.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
Pretty good.
Along with LaDonna Cruzone from SarahPalinRadio.com.
Hi, John.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, so we're all in here just having a Palin fest
there today, Eddie. Wow, holy cow. Why are you wasting your time with me when you got the two ladies in the studio?
Hey, you know how it is. We're equal opportunity. We're equal opportunity.
We're hanging with the hammer.
All right, we'll be right back. Hey, John, you going to stick around to the break with me?
Love to.
All right, we'll be right back with John Ziegler, Rebecca Mansour, LaDonna Cruzone. We'll be right back.